So J.D. Vance started off as a never Trump guy, said he didn't like him, said he could see exactly how that Trump had exploited people in Appalachia and how he had just told them what they wanted to hear to get ahead. Now he's drastically changed his tune, obviously, and he's his running mate. And now he's having to go out there and defend those comments all the time. And he'll always say that, well, then Trump got in and he proved me wrong. He became the greatest president of my lifetime, blah, blah, blah. But what's so funny to me is I'm sure as he sat back and studied Trump and the way that Trump goes about things, he probably said to himself, like many of us, well, it's amazing how this guy can just come right out and insult people to their face and they'll still lap it up like a dog. It's so amazing how this guy will just go out there and tell people exactly what it is that he's going to do, and they just give him a pass for it. And so J.D. Vance, now that he's his running mate, he feels empowered and he thinks, oh, I can try on this act for size. I can go out here and do this. And then he goes on CNN, he's talking to Dana Bash, and just straight out loud says that he created the story about Springfield, Ohio to get the media to talk about it. And watch the deer in headlights moment. Just wait for it. It's my favorite part. Watch the deer in headlights moment when he realizes, you know what? I can't pull Trump's act off by myself. Take a look.
Totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat memes. If I have to,
but it wasn't just a meme,
create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana, because you guys are completely letting Kamala Harris coast. You had one interview with her. You talk about pushing back against me, Dana. You didn't push back against the fact that she cast the deciding vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which is why a lot of Americans can't afford food and housing.
You just said that you're
creating
creating a story.
Public policy.
Sir, you just said that you're creating the story.
What's that, Dana?
You just said that this is a story that you created. So the eating dogs and cats thing is not accurate.
Dana, it comes from firsthand accounts from my constituents. I say that we're creating a story, meaning we're creating the American media focusing on it. I didn't create 20,000 illegal migrants coming into Springfield thanks to Kamala Harris's policies. Her policies did that, but yes, we created the actual focus that allowed the American media to talk about this story and the suffering caused by Kamala Harris's policies.
Folks, in any other era, that would be the end of his political career. That would be on the front page of every newspaper in this country. Everyone will be talking about it. Hey, this senator from Ohio went on national TV, who's on the ticket for the Republican Party's vice president, went on national television and said that he created a story out of thin air. And then when he got caught, I love the long pause in the middle there. The first time I watched that, I literally thought my phone was freezing up and I was kind of tapping the screen to make sure the video was still playing. But you could see his wheels turning when she said, you just admitted to creating this story. You just said you created this story. Then he's like, oh, shit, how do I dig my way out of this one? I've tried Donald Trump's act on for size, and while it may work for Trump, it don't always work for all the people that tries to imitate it. And so he begins trying to dig himself out of that hole by saying, well, we create the media talking about it. No, that's not what happened at all. You were right the first time, JD. You created this story, and the arrogance, the level of arrogance when he said that. And if I have to create stories, that's what I'm going to do, Dana. He said it straight out loud. And this fake story that they created has done nothing but cause unrest in Springfield. It's done nothing but cause threats and evacuations. And that's the kind of rhetoric that Donald Trump doubles down on, and they're continuing to double down on it. And the reason they're doing it, folks, we all know it's to distract from the fact that Donald Trump is having to run from his record. He can't run on his record. He has to run from it. They want to dodge any and all accountability. So when Trump said that at the debate and people began to drag him the next day, they just doubled down on it. And by doubling down on it, all they did was make matters worse. I'm going to read you a little bit of a story here from CNN, because them creating the story led to this kind of unrest right here. Take a look at this. Colleges and schools in Springfield, Ohio closed after receiving threats linked to false claims about Haitian immigrants. Folks, it's really sad, honestly. At the end of the day, it's sad that this is happening in 2024, that people are allowed to go on TV and admit to telling a lie, and they can get away with it. But right here, 2 colleges in Springfield, Ohio have moved to virtual learning, and 2 elementary schools were evacuated Monday after receiving separate threats. The closures come amid ongoing fallout from baseless allegations former President Donald Trump made during the second presidential debate that Haitian immigrants in the city are stealing and eating local pets. Students at Simon Kenton and Kenwood elementary schools were evacuated to an alternate district location. Monday, on information district officials received from city police, the Springfield City School District said in a statement. Goes on here to say, these are the fifth and sixth SCSD buildings to be targeted by recent threats within the last week, the district noted in a statement. Elsewhere in the city, classes at Wittenberg University were held remotely Monday, while campus police and law enforcement continued to assess email threats of a bombing and campus shooting that targeted members of the Haitian community, the university said in a statement. Nearby, Clark State College also announced its campuses will be closed this week and classes will be held virtually after the school also received similar threats through email. Officials at both schools said they were taking measures out of abundance of caution. So by creating that story, all JD and Trump really did was create a bunch of chaos and put innocent people in Springfield, Ohio's lives in danger. And folks, it's sad that this is actually happening, and this is the level of low they're willing to stoop to distract from the fact that they're both unfit to serve this country. And anybody who would say to you with the level of arrogance that J.D. Vance said, hey, if I have to create a story, Dana, that's what I will do. They don't deserve to be anywhere near any office in any land in this world. And that's just the truth. And Josh Shapiro, governor of Pennsylvania, makes a great point here in that this is just reckless and it's absolutely dangerous. Folks, take a look.
I mean, Dana, that was bonkers. Listen, the governor of Ohio, the mayor of that town in Ohio, has said this is all made up. These are all lies. There's no truth to it. And the United States Senator from Ohio just came on your show and blamed his own constituents for his own lies. This guy's so pathetic, but the thing is, it is dangerous. There is a causal connection between the BS that J.D. Vance and Donald Trump spew and the safety and security of the American people. When they go out and they lie about this stuff, they put their fellow Americans at risk. J.D. Vance should be ashamed of himself. He knows better. I mean, this guy, whether he's on your show or he's in some sports bar where, I mean, by the way, a total pick-me in that sports bar the other day, he just doesn't understand the power of his words, the power of his lies, and those lies are putting people at risk. This is dangerous stuff. I know it started because they wanted to just distract the American people from their failed policies and their chaos, but this has now taken on a life of its own because of what they incited, and people's lives are at risk because of J.D. Vance. This guy should know better. It's shameful what he did.
Shapiro is spot on right there. This is extremely dangerous, and all it did was put a bunch of innocent people in danger. The only thing that I don't know if I'd use the word disagree with him on, but the one thing that I would say differently is I think J.D. Vance does understand the power of his words. I think he just doesn't care. I think he's willing to do whatever he has to do now to defend Trump, and he's going to go down on that sinking ship with him. And he said it himself, he will create stories if he has to. But I just wonder what J.D. Vance would do if I created a story. And I could, because I have cousins that live in Jackson, Kentucky, which is the town that J.D. Vance used to visit his mama at. So, I mean, I could sit here and I could create a story, and I could say that I've heard from cousins in Jackson that they knew J.D., that they were friends with his family. And when J.D. came down, they played with him during the summer. And I could also just sit here and say that they told me that J.D. eat worms when he came down. And J.D. Vance took cockroaches and shoved them up his nose and snorted them. I mean, I don't actually have any proof of that, but I could create that story because I want the media to talk about it. I want the media to talk about this story. So let me just start saying that. How would he feel if I did that? How would he feel if we just spread it like wildfire? And it's bullshit, and we're going to admit it and tell you it is. We're going to create this story because we want the media to talk about the fact that J.D. Vance eat worms and snorted cockroaches. How would he like that? I know I just pulled that out of my ass, but that's how ridiculous it is. You don't get to sit there and say that you created a story and then say, well, we did it to get you guys to talking about it. And then you won't condemn the violence that's happening. You won't condemn the threats at all. You just sit back and say, well, the real problem's at the border. You just keep throwing gas on it. It is completely reckless. It's completely irresponsible. And I can't believe that in 2024, these two buffoons are in the running to be the leaders of the free world. It's absolute insanity. It's crazy and deserves to be called as such. I don't even think weird is fair anymore. We was calling them weird. And, we've talked a lot here on the channel about the good kind of weird. Musicians are a good weird, and Grateful Dead fans are a good weird. I don't even know if weird is a fair word to use anymore. This is just absolute crazy. It's insanity, and it's as low as it gets. It really is, that they absolutely go out there and admit they're lying. And yet you're going to have people, when you share this video, because trust me, it'll be in the comment section, you're going to have people that's going to say to you, but that ain't what he said. You're taking it out of context. He just meant create the media talking about it. Well, okay, we'll give them that. If it was just to get the media to talking about it, all you actually did was got your unhinged supporters fired up and threatening innocent people and causing unrest amongst innocent people and putting their lives in danger. I can't believe we're even having this conversation. I truly can't. But folks, I truly appreciate you for listening to me every day. Thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button. If you haven't already, be sure to go over and hit it. That way you're notified when I make videos. And if you haven't already, be sure to check out our Patreon. We have expanded it now to 3 tiers, and we're going to be putting more exclusive only content on there. So I really appreciate you guys for coming along on this ride with me. I started to say it's a lot of fun. I don't know if fun is the right word. I do enjoy doing what I'm doing. I thoroughly do. And this is the hill that I chose to die on. Sometimes it gets a little stressful. Sometimes you have to unwind. Sometimes you have to go back and, just sit down and listen to a good album or go out to a good show and just soak up some good music. So let me know what you guys do to unwind from this madness. Because trust me, I'm just going to say, if you listen to my channel on a daily basis and you are as engaged as I am and paying attention to everything that's going on, and I know you are, then there has to be that moment where you sit back and you take a breather. So tell me what you do. What albums do you listen to? What kind of meditation do you do? What kind of books do you read? What kind of crazy stuff on TV do you watch to take your mind off all this? Because we all have to have a break at some point. And I have had people say, I haven't watched one of your videos in a couple of days. Hey, trust me, I get it. This is the hill I chose to die on, so I'm okay. We'll make it. But I truly appreciate everybody, and everybody just stay safe out there in this crazy world, because J.D. Vance and Donald Trump is going to create whatever hysteria they can to get ahead in life, and they just admitted it to you. So there's that.